we came in here for, so I guess that's a pretty good thing still.
Well, that's it from Ali. And I think we're going in as we go into Infernal Shrines. Because Raven took double support, not that it mattered too much in MVP Black's drafting tonight. It has been hurting them a lot, especially I think they need to pick up some CCs, as you mentioned, the entire day today, because they can't really lock anyone in or have a massive comeback because they barely have any CCs. If they want to actually get some picks onto a target at least, maybe they want to lock him some more CCs and bring a double tank or double warrior, since every single time they've been just having solo tank, solo warrior front line with a double support. Maybe it's time for Raven to actually change their team style here.
And generally speaking, we talked about this with actually O-Prime while we were getting ready for the cast, but generally if a team has two players that can definitely play support well, then they will gravitate a bit more towards double support because that's what they feel comfortable on. And that applies to Raven because Darvish used to play support for almost an entire year, although he wasn't a support before that. So I can see why Raven is gravitating towards those compositions, but as you said, they might want to think about moving away from it. And on the other hand, for MVP Black, I'm sort of glad that they aren't playing as much double support, at least today, because I felt that Sake wasn't that great, or shined that much at least, when he was playing the secondary support. He was a good Tassadar, but on everything else, not so much.
That's one of the things we were also talking about, but here's an ETC. Of course, Genji Ariel banned.
Nothing too surprising.
Nothing too surprising. And ETC, taking control of that ETC was just a powerful tool for all teams. We see throughout the regions, EUNA also picking up ETC. Actually, they picked up a lot earlier compared to Korea and really rose up to the top right now because I think lack of cleanse really brought ETC up in the tier, and of course Anubarak nerf also brought that into at the same time. I think that's exactly why ETC rose up so much. It's good against the dive com. There's a pretty good control from the beginning of the game, and this phase, this meta right now is to snowball your early lead and really not going into the late game. I think ETC is a perfect pick for that.
So a very standard and not showing too much in their first response from Raven. Uther Greymane can go anywhere based on those two first picks, but as you were saying about ETC, I'm super happy that he is back into the meta because aside from the stun lock meta, so to speak, where all the stuns and all these crowd control were perhaps a little bit too much to be fun, I generally find ETC to be the most fun tank in the game. He can provide a lot of pick potential, which makes the early game much more exciting and more action-packed.
That's right.
He also has the ultimate where you maybe hit 5 people and it turns around an impossible game. That's also very exciting. So unless he's not very healthy for the game in general, I'm like always super happy to see a bit of the Chieftain in action. So happy to see it. And once again, I really want to see a Kerrigan here from MVP Black just for the nostalgia factor from Rich, but I guess he will be playing Girash again.
We'll see. They picked up Rehgar this time. Maybe they're considering about diving in themselves. I'm not too quite sure. Because Garrosh and Rehgar sort of counteracts in terms of dive and the counter dive. But there's Greymane coming out from the other side. So maybe that's why they picked Garrosh here. Jaina banned! No kiting for you, Sake.
Pretty good idea from Raven, I would say. I mean, they had a hard time dealing with Jaina when MVP Black played it. Overall, not a too bad a map for Jaina, especially Infernal Shrines as well. You could argue that it was a wasted ban because there is no one like defined purpose that Jaina would serve within this map within this composition. But I mean, I don't think Raven have a good read on MVP Black too enough to have a clear second ban anyway. So if you're going to ban something, then oh god.
Medivh Diva? We saw few Divas coming out from Raven for that zone control. Oh goodness. Guys, this draft is just unreadable. Sylvanas. Maybe against so many CCs on the other side, I think Medivh is actually an okay pick. But with Sylvanas now on MVP Black, I don't know where this is ending. Well, let's wait for another 30 seconds. Maybe they'll use all the time.
Maybe they'll pick Arthas again for the repeat triple warrior composition, and this time they want to end the game even quicker, so they pick Sylvanas and Syndragosa. Could be a thing, I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised to see a random Ragnaros here either. They seem to be going in for that kind of style today. Let's end it quickly and go home. We could also see a Li Ming. I mean, there are so many ways that MVP Black could take this comp too, especially when
Zagara!
Oh, wow.
I was jokingly saying maybe we'll see Zagara during our rehearsal tonight, but here we go, guys. MVP Black.
I can't believe you were joking about it. We were joking about it.
I was serious, you know.
You were serious?
You were, you know, might just, you know.
I was joking about it. You were serious about it, okay?
MVP Black bringing the action here, and Diablo will be the last pick.
This is such an NA draft. Raven are going full Roll 20 here, right?
I do agree.
Well, maybe not for the Diva, but that let's call that a Korean touch. Diva is Korean, right?
Yes, and
we have to show our national colors at some point.
And she's the only one written in English. That's an ironic that we talked about before. But a crazy draft coming out from MVP Black, I would say. If this is not crazy, I don't know what other words I would use to describe this draft coming out from MVP Black. And actually a decently balanced draft coming out from Raven. Well, we're going into Game 3, Infernal Shrines. Let's see if this series will end tonight right here, or will we move on to Game 4? Let's go into Infernal Shrines. In blue, Raven. Darvish on Medivh, Hamlin on Greymane, and MX on Diva, Diyoung on Diablo, and Chom on Uther.
And in the red, we see MVP Black with Reset on Zagara, Sake on Sylvanas, Kyocha on Rehgar, Rich on Garrosh, and Tist on ETC. And if we're talking about the players and their respective heroes, then I find how Raven gave their heroes to their players pretty interesting, because previously, I believe, the Medivh player, but a blow up on Sake goes unpunished.
It's close. Now Uther is in trouble also.
Not the most inspiring portal, but it worked.
And meanwhile, my solo queue, Zagara already started the forever alone top lane push. It seems like it's happening. Good counter actually coming out from Darvish, but that was close call going into the portal. You can see some amazing plays from Diyoung sometimes, especially when he's on Diablo. That's one of his favorite, most picked hero.
He does make a lot of mistakes on that hero as well, but in general, he has been pretty on point. And could have been a kill there, but not enough damage. Mecha blown up though.
There's a 0.5 kill and 1.0 kill now going on to Diva. And I think that's going to be a start. Hamlin having some trouble as a solo lane on top. As Greymane solo lane as a top.
Generally, unless the Zagara makes a huge mistake, I can't imagine Greymane having the most fun of times against the Zagara in the solo lane. And Rich
thrown apart, and Hamlin has no escape. Even if Darvish comes, I don't think he can.
A perfect portal might seal the deal.
Even harder now, I think. Ooh, there's the escape. Power slide juked out from Hamlin, but he goes back top. Okay,
that
there
was
was
a
no
very
escape.
delayed kill, but well, good on Raven to try to save him. Better yet, from Tist to read that.
That's right.
Yeah, come for support. Overall, MVP Black heavily ahead in the early game, though.
Yeah, that's not just those 2 kills, because they have been extra soaking from top from the very beginning, and And that, not just that kill, they have been soaking every single time. Even when they're missing from lane, and reset, ooh, very low. Even when they're missing from lane, they distribute perfectly so they don't lose any XP. When Raven, when they go for help, they do not do the same thing that Black does, and they lose the XP. And I think those are the small things you always see that can snowball into EXP change.
I'm somewhat confused why Raven is suddenly deciding to contest this shrine, especially when MVP Black was about 37 skeletons ahead, I think. So a bit confusing there. This should at least get the outer walls, obviously, because you have a Sylvanas on your team. Might lead to more.
Ooh, there's a throw. But onto Diablo, he's sustaining for a long time. Matrix is helping a lot. And there's a explosion coming. Didn't do too much, and meanwhile this Punisher has been pushing in. Even Force of Will was not enough. There's a first kill onto Uther.
So much crowd control, it's crazy. This time Raven has a decent amount of it themselves, but MVP Black staying ahead in the general displacement and or crowd control categories. So far, very successful first push with Sylvanas. Generally, you would expect it to go a bit further than when you don't have the Sylvanas, but even accounting for that, some very good stuns from ETC and Garrosh ensured that they took more. And to go back about talking about these heroes, oh, this is going to be another exploded mech.
Even when you lose mech, you give EXP to the other team, so you do have to be careful when you play D.Va, and if you lose the mini D.Va also, of course, you give full EXP to the other team. Ooh, I feel like Raven is just not respecting the positioning of MVP Black, and not having Greymane is costing them a lot more because there's so much less poking that they could do. They have close to 0 pokes without the Greymane, some Medivh Qs of, I guess, but that's basically it. And when they have to defend, when their fort is not shooting because of Sylvanas on the other side, I think Hamlin must come for the defense.
It's a bit disheartening to see Raven responding so poorly to the area of threat Garrosh poses, and this is somewhat similar to what we saw from most teams, I would say, when Garrosh was first released. A lot of players who had picked up Garrosh fast enough to use it had enjoyed a lot of success with Garrosh simply because the other teams weren't experienced enough yet in dealing with Garrosh, respecting that range where you simply shouldn't walk into. But Raven are looking like they don't... Wow.
What did we just...
Oh, God.
Okay. Okay, I think we've seen enough. Carry on, Bradley.
Oh,
please.
wow.
Oh.
Well, while G-Cliff is dying in the corner over here, to provide a bit of context about these heroes on these players, Raven used to be one of the worst teams to use Medivh. They were, in fact, criticized whenever they took Medivh simply because NMX, who used to play Medivh for them, was a very bad Medivh, to put it mildly. He was absolutely mind control.
Mind control game. We have everything from Black tonight, guys. And by the way, report Rich. If you play KR server. No. If you're playing in this game, yes, please.
You have a larger area of depth if you throw Sylvanas forward and Sylvanas casts Mind Control at max range, so I see some combo potential there, possibly.
Mind Control was actually buffed a long time ago with the range, so that's coming in, and they're going for a keep here as they use the Maul to grab Medivh. Okay, is that going to be a connection with the Mosh? There we go! No Force of Will for you! That's what Tis is saying, and that's going to be a keep for sure.
You get the impression that MVP Black's Zagar right now is not really a practice pick simply by the timing in which TTSSD used that Mosh, because if they had experimented, like practiced with the Maw long enough, then he would have had a better grip on that exact timing. So.
And if Diablo wanted to have some team fight, you know, even off from the other side, he was pushing the bot lane, but at least use the APOC to cancel the Mosh. There's the Mind Control again. Nice shield timing this time at least, but lost the D.Va already.
Again, not the most inspiring portal.
Sledge just porting in and out. protecting the other side when there's no damage. Okay, and Rich diving in. I think this will be a lot more, especially with the Sylvanas. This Punisher has been pushing for a long time now. There's a double stun. This will be a second keep and possibly the game-ending keep.
The Punisher has been pushing for such a long time,
and
but
seems
it's
like this is
still
timing for
above-
Bunny
oh, wow.
Hop! And here we go. There's Ancestral onto Socket. The perfect timing. Can they make an escape here? Max dives in. There's a mini diva now. Use the portal to actually chase. Reset. Will be the first one to fall from Black.
Finally, a very good use of the Portal Diablo combo, so Raven will be happy to have gotten that kill. That kill was probably their first of the game. Yes, it is. And
he comes in, throws Tist so that he can survive and actually gets a kill onto Diva.
So much BM coming out from the side of MVP Black. I'm surprised that they didn't take... Oh, okay, so he gets to go home. I'm surprised the Punisher didn't automatically take down the mid keep as well, so... All in all, we can safely say that Raven still has a chance. They could come back in this game. They're only one keep down, right? Only 2 levels down. That's a much better situation than what they...
Throw onto Greymane. No defensive tool. Shield available. Does not use yet. I feel like that was a little early mind control actually coming out. Oh, seems like we'll see a lot more. There's an explosion. Will we see again? There we go!
God,
Rich diving in and Yonk CCing. Perfect target. Is that going to be actually taunted?
Oh,
yes,
wow.
it is with the maw. But Leyland Seal, a perfect counter comes in.
Really good maw, but better seal. ETC had the mosh too, so it could have been disastrous, but a 4-man bunny hop.
The slow, but there's a mosh pit, 3-man mosh pit, and this one's going to be kills. And ETC dies in the middle too.
I don't think Rehgar had enough mana for an Ancestral. We don't get to see the exact number, but he had Ancestral up, but he couldn't give it to ETC probably because of the mana. Now, overall, 2 kills on the side of Raven, 4-1, so they have to be happy, but I would prefer if they would just go back now.
That was a close call. That protection came in instantly. And meanwhile, previously on HGC.
Oh god. Well, I mean, still, our point still stands. Raven are technically only 1 keep down, only a level down now because they were pretty successful in doing those last batch of team fights. So overall, if they concentrate a little bit more, I could see them maybe eking out at least a more competitive match.
Yes, they're only 1 level away actually. The top push will be very painful, especially with this bottom Punisher now. And Diva already lost the mech. Does not actually use the self.
Goodbye, Diva.
Ooh.
Divine Shield on Baby Diva.
Oh, that's a lot of soul tools to actually use. Seems like Rich through.
Still 25 until Ancestral. They have to be a bit more careful.
That's right, the Young is a target. And Medivh is looking for the kill. Can he get it? Darvish may overextended. And he falls instead of Zagara.
I am so disappointed about that Divine Shield on the Baby Diva. Why did that have to happen? You just let the Baby Diva die. She's not going to get back her mech in time, especially when her ultimate is Bunny Hop. If they had saved the Divine Shield for a more important target and just expected the Diva to just die, then maybe that teamfight could have turned out better.
This is a big clown fiesta. And talking about fiesta, we see dances, party all night. And Creamy may have partied too much. It's gone already. And NMX, ooh, finally gets to use his self-destruct. Away from the portal, can...
She used the portal.
Wow.
Got the new mech as well. But MVP Black will get...
Oh, now here comes the mind control. CC and the Maul. Does not have Mosh Pit. May have portal and protection available. Seems like Darvish is escaping.
He gets out.
But this push is real. It's with Sylvanas and throws like this. I think mech was destroyed maybe 8 times in this game or even more.
Yeah, I think
Rusake diving deep. He survives with the 13 talent coming in. Punisher also working its way. But with the keep down, I think this push will maybe game over. There's a ley line too. But what do they pair up with? APOC does not connect.
That was bad timing on the APOC. Perhaps they did not have enough practice with this combination. And with Sylvanas, Keep will certainly go down. Divine Shield used on the Mega this time.
Ooh, and uses to self-destruct anyhow, and the Mega is very low. The Punisher is still there, 73%, doing so much CC. D.Va blows up, and De Jong's onto the other side.
Mind Control is available.
Here comes Mind Control onto Greymane. And Hamelin dives in, looking for a kill. Actually, that was a good angle. But nice save coming out from Kyocha.
Team wipe.
And the game, I think. That will be the game. It was not the most clean game I would ever say, and not the most common drafting coming out from MVP Black, but there it is. Maximum level of BM coming out from Rich, I would say, in this series, and that's it. 3-0, and they're going home early tonight.
The BM levels from Rich was amazing in this game. I mean, I can't count on at least one hand the number of times he threw a team member into a self-destruct from D.Va. And despite Rich trying to troll his teammates all game long, MVP Black still went in dominant fashion. Granted, it was a much closer game compared to Game 1 and Game 2, and on a few occasions, Raven did seem to know what they were doing, but overall, MVP Black were, on the whole, just toying with their food.
Yes, I think they basically had all the ingredients, and it was a matter of how they were going to cook tonight. And I think it came out to be a little extra spicy, and we saw all those spicy coming out. Do you see Rich tossing Zagara into the danger, and
God.
Zagara survived at the end?
So many times, so many times. But
my goodness,
I do appreciate that MVP Black didn't take it that seriously and experimented a bit with their compositions. And aside from having the fun in game and a little bit in the draft as well, we got to see the debut of Rich's Garrosh, and I really found his mechanics and general decision-making on that hero to be very impressive. So maybe we will get to see that used in a more serious match against L5 on
I think
Sunday.
That's the biggest one. Because of that match waiting in 2 days, I don't think they want to show anything if I were MVP Black. If you have a crazy big match waiting for you in 2 days against a weakest team in the league in Korea, I don't think I want to show anything. I think that's exactly the mindset that MVP Black had tonight. They were experiencing a lot of things. It was very entertaining for sure. And who do you think is the MVP for tonight? I wish we have Rich on, but I don't think we're going to see Rich, because he was on there last time.
I guess, but I mean, the only question that you really want to ask MVP Black today is about Rich BM throwing his teammates into danger.
Bring up Reset and have Reset talk about Rich. I think that will be the best interview.
Tist would also make sure, because, I mean, ETC was thrown into danger like 7 times, I think.
That was perfect. Actually, throwing ETC and power sliding in and having the mosh actually creates a big range for ETC player. That happened to me a few times. Of course, this was a little bit of a selfish use from coming out from Rich, of course. But that does happen if you're with Garrosh on ETC. And I think we'll see.
Rich's BM was so impressive that we are not even talking about the mind control. To be fair, I think mind control is perfectly fine. I actually pick it all the time in Hero League. Like, when I pick Sylvanas, I never take Wailing Arrow. I only take mind control. So.
Report rally, guys. Report rally. When you pick Sylvanas, dodge. No. Okay, let's jump into interview. See who it is on the green side of the things.
와, 오늘 MVP 리치.
It is Rich! MVP, collapse all around.
정말 빼놓을 수 없는 카드가 리치거든요. 저 요즘 좀 어떻게 지내셨어요?
How have you been, Rich?
잘 먹고 잘 지내고.
It's been good.
그 경기 내에서 이 마지막에 3세트 경기에 가로씨를
And your
고르고 난 이후에
Garrosh gave
모양이
3.
이건 아닌데라고 했던 게 나는 이거
And
바꿨는데 난
That was not the game, of course.
맨 눈으로 지켜봤거든요.
And even the Korean caster was saying, "This is not the play you should be making," you know.
전삼 살짝 카테고리 있잖아요. 그거 누르면서 놀다가 가로씨가 눌린 거예요.
그래서 마치 그래서 거기 내에서
And I was just trying to select the hero in Warrior, and Garrosh became the pick. As I was clicking some other heroes, it seems like Rich actually wanted to play something else instead of Garrosh.
위험을 자초하는 그런 참전이 많이 나왔어요.
그렇죠.
Those wrecking balls were into the phrase. You know, that was not the most safe use of the skill. I threw.
그때 정말 위험했어요.
He did not say the subject, but he said I threw something. I don't know.
던졌을 때 그냥 어떤 얘기가 나왔나요?
정신지배를 아군한테 쓸 수가 없냐고 하더라고요.
And actually, they were talking about they wanted to have mind control on Rich because he was doing so many VMing.
장면, 이 한타 장면에서 자가라를 던졌을 때,
and right before the team fight, when you threw Zagara, Zagara had no damage and was busy just running away.
제가 가로씨를 얼마 안 해봤잖아요.
And I didn't really play Garrosh too many times. So I was actually trying to save Zagara, but you know, things happen. As I'm the best mechanical player in the world. I think if I didn't throw Zagara, I actually could have died there, you know.
그때 그러면 일세 선수는 큰 그림 너무 좋은데라고 했나요? 아니면 무슨 반응을 보였나요?
What do you think after you misclicked it?
살렸으니까 살리려고 했다면
Well, at least Zagara survived, so it was okay.
리치 선수도 잘했다 막 이렇게 그런 약간 방향은 전혀 안 나왔어요?
전혀
아니었죠.
Of course, I actually was not really, you know.
던지니까 그런 부분에 있어서 좀 포인트가 좀 됐는데 그래도 완벽한 딜 계산을 하고 나와서 이렇게 가로씨
And even you were doing the perfect calculations. And of course, you'll be moving on to BlizzCon.
그 준비 과정은 좀 어때요?
Right after, how are you guys preparing for BlizzCon?
그 앞으로 이제 목표를 블리즈컨에서 우승하지 않은 그런 분위기 넘치는.
Or is there a goal? Is there a mindset of everyone? Let's win BlizzCon.
L5 경기를 나름 걱정하고 있어서.
Yeah, before that match against the L5 is somewhat worrisome for us. So I think that's the first step that we have to really focus on, take care of.
역시나 좋은 모습을 보여줄 것 같다고 생각하는 분이 굉장히 많죠. MVP 블랙이요. 근데 리치 선수가 이제 다시 MVP 블랙을 복귀를 하고 나서
There are lots of expectations
살이 오르고 있는 것 같아요. 계속 진행이
into
되고
MVP
있나요?
Black, but especially, but since you've been in the team,
오른다?
I thought you were on a diet, but seems like you're rising up
있는 것 같은데,
on your levels there.
계속 이게 좀 업이 되고 있나요? 블리즈컨을 위해서?
Is that for BlizzCon also?
치킨 먹었고 어제 피자 먹었거든요.
I had pizza. I ordered delivery food yesterday, and I think that's a good answer to your question.
오늘 경기 내에서 피지컬로
다 태우는 거죠.
And all the calories that he gained yesterday was burnt off with all the plays from Garrosh tonight. Is what Castle Park is saying to cover up.
대결에서의 그 자신감 말씀을 좀 해주신다면요. 무섭지 않으세요? 푸나틱과 디그니타스?
How about Fnatic and Dignitas?
제가 블리즈컨에서 져봤기 때문에 무서운데 디그니타스는
Fnatic, we lost against them last time.
비장의 카드라고는
So they are very scary indeed.
비장의 카드는 없지만
Dignitas, I think, a little less. We don't really have a Joker card prepared for them.
리치 선수가 그렇게 얘기하더라고요. 나오라고 지금 와서. 지금 해외에서 유럽에서 지금 보고 있거든요.
Like all the EU fans are watching here, you know. Give you.
유럽? EU?
Do you want to talk to EU? Straight?
스니치한테.
예.
I want to talk to Snitch.
한번 말씀 해주신다면.
맨날 내 방송 와서 구독해줘서 고맙다고.
Well, thanks for subscribing in my stream all the time.
예, 그래요.
That's a very personal message.
인사해가지고 이렇게 마무리가 됐습니다.
그럼요.
네, 그럼 다시 한번 축하드리고 오늘 선물을 드려야 되거든요.
네.
여러 가지 선물들이 있습니다. 가장 뭐 갖고 싶은.
There are lots of presents right here.
디아블로 좋아하세요. 1리단도 있고.
디아블로도 있고.
프로비우스도 있고. 프로비우스가 좀 귀엽고.
Probius, Illidan.
머키도 있고 여러 가지 있거든요.
There's Murky.
이거는 이제 아바투르 인터뷰 때.
How about this one? That's for the Avatar interview.
개인 장비라. 개인 장비.
That's for the production. So
되거든요. 여기서 여러 가지. 예, 이거 근데
What's
예,
this?
이게 뭔지 여기서 봐야
저희도
돼요.
몰라요.
저희도
We don't
몰라요.
even know what that
랜덤박스
is.
여기서
Let's
봐야
open
돼요,
up.
여기서.
아마
약간
I think
예,
it's
여기 써
a
있기는
Murloc?
할 텐데.
저글링 같은 느낌인가요?
네, 저글링 느낌이 있네요.
Zergling?
이거 원해요?
아닐 수도 있어요.
예, 아닐 수도 있으니까
아닐 수도
저희가
있고.
죄송한데 그 반품은 안 되거든요.
네.
You can't
네.
refund it.
네.
If you open it, you have to take
맞아요,
it.
맞아요, 저글링?
Is it?
같은데요.
빛나래요?
I think it's
빛나래네.
Brightwing.
아, 빛나래는 버려요.
빛나래 안 되고.
예, 빛나래 안 되면
He puts it back right after.
네.
He's like, I don't play sport, guys.
아닐 수도 있어요.
아닐 수도 있고.
아니, 근데
Maybe
이게
this one.
멀록
저희가
수도
이게
있고.
아, 이거
아닐 수도
멀록
있어서
같은데요?
색깔은 프로비우스
예, 프로비우스 색깔로 우선 드리고
네.
It seems
색깔로
like
예,
Probius.
있어가지고는
The color seems
예,
similar.
비슷한 것 같은데요, 그죠?
이것도 한번 열어봐도
But
돼요.
try
예,
opening
한번
this.
열어보세요. 빛나래는 지금 밴했고요. 자,
And
프로비우스.
Brightwing was banned from
첫
Rich.
경기에서 올라오는 MVP가
프로비우스
가장
맞아?
유리해요.
먹기는 밴하고 싶어.
네,
먹기 밴.
먹기 밴.
Oh, it's
먹기
a
밴.
it's a Murloc. So Murloc is banned, guys.
빛나래랑
Murky.
먹기가
빛나래는 빈-
And let's see.
이건요.
예, 이거는 저도
Third
진짜
time is the
모르겠어요.
charm.
이거는
저 열어본 적이
Rich,
없어요.
please.
예,
Pick
멀록.
one.
아, 색깔은 멜록이네요.
먹기가 계속 밴되고
그러면
있고.
Another Murloc.
1,
이거
2단,
1,
1, 2단.
그거 저번에 받은 거예요.
아 그래요?
아,
디아블로밖에
받았어요?
없어요 그러면.
예,
He
디아블로
picked
한번
Illidan
해볼게요.
last time, so he's not taking that.
아,
So
좋습니다.
정말 축하드리고
Instead, he'll pick
마지막으로는
something
팬분들에게
else.
어떤 모습 보여드리겠다 한 말씀 해주시면
and of course, last shout outs to your fans, please.
일단은 이번 한국 풀리그에서는 좋은 모습.
And in HGC Korea, I think we had some
모습 보여드릴 수 있도록
여기
노력하겠습니다.
great performance. I think we'll do a lot more.
화가 난 건
태그
아니죠?
떼면서
But
얘기해 이거를.
yes, he speaks.
그러면서
He
얘기하는
takes the
멋진
tag
거예요.
off
이거를
from the
대갑니다.
product.
예,
Seems like he
축하드리고요.
can't refund it
좋은 모습
now.
부탁드리겠습니다.
감사합니다.
네, 고맙습니다.
Well, that's the interview coming out from Rich.
정리해드리겠습니다.
Lots of detailed questions, of course, all the time. Wow, I'm always impressed. Every single time we hear from the questions from Castle Park and King are incredible.